It's been a while since we filmed in your apartment.
It has been a minute because
It's been like months.
It's been months, but we're doing the best we can.
We're doing the best we can. If you're new here, my name is Vin.
I'm Sara.
This is the Career Collective, and on this podcast, we talk about corporate America, starting businesses, building personal brands, all in our 20s. And today, we are talking about making friends in our 20s.
Yeah, I feel like this is a topic that we've wanted to speak about for like quite some time, actually. And I'm happy that we're doing it now because I feel like we got a lot of business stuff out of the way, a lot of corporate tips. We did interview tips. We did personal branding. We did when we quit our corporate jobs, why we did that, how we started our business. So now we're kind of getting into like the relationship side of things and actually living and those relationships in your 20s and how to like navigate that, because that could be like really hard for a lot of people.
It's very challenging for a lot of people. Before we do that, I think we need to catch up a little bit.
Yeah, we do need to catch up.
You could fast forward this. This is about 2-minute catch up.
We always have to catch up because we always joke that we're the worst podcasters, and these episodes come out like once every 3 months, once a quarter.
Like once a quarter. I need to catch up what's going on in Sarah's life. Seems like she just bought a house or something. What happened there?
Yeah, so me and Jonathan bought a house on Long Island.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much. Definitely a huge milestone for us. I haven't actually told anyone this on social, but to get the inside scoop for you guys, it was a private sale. We bought my cousin's house. And for anyone that is familiar with the real estate market on Long Island, you can't get anything for less than 1.5 million. And everything that's 1.5 million, in my opinion, is a total gut, or it's like a shed in someone's backyard. So we like to say we got a little family discount. So we love their house. So when we heard that they were putting it on the market, we were like, hold on a second. Like, this is a house that we could see ourselves eventually like starting a family in. However, we're just so not ready to leave the city. Like, all of our friends are here. We're 28. Like, we're not ready to start a family, but we were like, let's get in now. So we did. And my cousins got their dream home. It all worked out for us because now we got this place, and now we're looking to rent it out for the next few years because we're not ready to leave, basically. But this is like a really great stepping stone for us. It was like a 3-month close process. It was pretty long just because there was a lot of stuff in terms of like I couldn't go on certain things because I don't have like proof of tax returns. And she's like, you learn so much when you're going and starting, your business, basically. It was a long process, but we got there. And that's all that matters. So
how long do you think you'll be in the city before you move to Long Island?
I don't know. I think at least another 3 years.
3 years?
We really love it so much. We love the apartment. Every time, I think there's like 4 or 5 times a day that we're just sitting and you hear one of us sigh and we're just like, I love it here. Like, we are just so comfortable. All our friends are here. We get to do this. Like, if I was all the way on Long Island, Vin, these episodes would be even more spread.
It might be the end of the pod right there.
Exactly. But tell me what's going on with you. What are your wedding planning still? That's coming up.
Yeah, not as involved right now with that. I think.
Take your time.
Yeah, no. I mean, we already got like the big stuff planned out.
Wait a second. I know what we could speak about.
Yeah.
Tell the world what you just walked in with in your hands.
Was in the Wall Street Journal this morning.
I mean, hello.
Crazy.
Congrats to you. That's unbelievable.
It was pretty crazy, actually. Yeah, they had reached out like a few weeks ago, or maybe even a month ago or so. They were trying to create a story about how people are making money on LinkedIn now. It's like this, new wave of social creators. Mm-hmm. And they interviewed a bunch of people. I didn't know if I was going to be included or not. And from what I heard, they interviewed even more people and they didn't include everybody. And so the article went out Sunday night. Your boy got a small blurb in it.
Amazing.
Yep. And then the physical copies went out today, and I went to like 4 different newsstands.
And you got a picture in it too.
And I got a picture in it.
Because not everyone got a picture.
There's some little inside scoop, actually. So when you send the photo in, they ask for some headshots. So I sent in like a few headshots. I had this one headshot of me like talking to a camera, like I was like filming a video. Mm-hmm. They needed to know every detail of that photo. If I was holding the camera, what brand camera it was, who took the photo, do I own the rights to the photo? If someone else took the photo, I need to give them their name because they need to give credit. In their eyes, they could potentially get sued if like they're sharing a photo and like they don't own the photo.
It's so crazy how many things that you actually learn that go on behind the scenes that you like just don't even think of. You're just like, oh, I'm sending in this photo, but then boom, 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 boom.
Yeah. There's a lot of stuff happening prior to that, so it's cool. I got my family like picked up a bunch of copies, and
we'll have to feature it at the end. We'll show you guys. I wish we should have kept it right here.
I don't know. Yeah, we'll have to show you guys.
Add it to the stack.
We're here today to talk about making friends in your 20s.
Yes.
And before we get into like the actual, meat of it, I wanted to talk a little bit about like why is it, I think because a lot of people, myself included, I think it's pretty challenging to make friends as an adult, post-college and like your mid to late 20s. But like, why is it so hard to make friends in your 20s? Why do you think?
I think it's hard because I think when you get older, you start to care like way too much about what people think. We've spoken about this before, but I've spoken about this with my friends, my family. Like sometimes I look at myself in the mirror and I'm just like, why do I care so much? Like if this was me 10 years ago, like I used to go up to people, be like, "Hey, hello, like what's your name? Like I'm Sara. This is what I do." Like I used to like not care, and I miss that version of me because I feel like even now being a content creator and going to events, for example, this is the perfect example. If I go to an event that they don't allow me to bring a plus one, I go and I'm very hesitant. Like if I see an influencer that I know from social media, but we've never met in person, like I won't go up to them. And I hate that version of me because me 10 years ago would be like, "Oh my God, Vin, like I love your stuff. My name is Sara. Like this is what I do." Not sure if you've seen my stuff before, but I literally love your content. Like, can we chat for 5 minutes? You know, just like pick your brain. Like I used to do that all the time. And now I'm very much like, hold on a second, I'm nervous, like I'm anxious. And I feel like that is how we get in our 20s. All of a sudden, we start just like questioning everything that we do. We're a little bit more insecure. We're a little bit more hesitant. We're not as confident in ourselves as we were as kids. You know, kids just run up to each other and they're like, "Hey, I'm so and so. I'm so and so." You know, you just don't care. And I think in your 20s, you start questioning everything that you're doing. You're like, am I on the right track? Like, do I have a good career? Maybe I don't have a good career. Maybe I hate my job. And you start not only questioning the one thing that you hate the most, but you just start questioning everything else. And then you get a little bit more insecure. But what's your take on it?
Yeah, well, also you made a good point too. I think there's like ignorance is bliss a little bit. Like as a kid, you
Yes.
could run up to someone and be like, "You want to be friends?" And it's like not weird.
You're like, yeah, okay, great.
Yeah, now it's like I think there's just a lot of social pressure on like maybe approaching someone. So you were at that event. There was some like big names at this event. First of all, what event was that, by the way?
Yeah, so it was the grand opening of Planet Hollywood in Times Square. And I actually did get a plus one and I brought my best friend. But I always preface to her, I always bring her. Her name's Faith, and we do everything together.
Are you a creator as well, or just friend?
Nope, not a creator, but one of my best friends. And she's always like, "Sara, like whatever you need me to do, I'll do."
Okay.
But she's not a creator, but she's the best. And I always tell her, like, this event could suck. It could be really good.
Yeah.
So we go to this event and we literally have a list. She created a list on a shared note, like on our notes app of every single person that we met. So we saw like Patrick Schwarzenegger, Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Oh.
I had a picture with Charlie D'Amelio, Rebecca Minkoff. I had a great conversation with her. She is so cool. We saw all the housewives, which was amazing because like I don't watch the housewives, but Faith does. So like Faith got her moment too. I actually learned a valuable lesson that night, and that's where all this hit me that night because a girl, her name's Michaela, who I now follow on social media, she came up to me that night.
Oh, wow.
And was like, "I literally love your videos. I'm not in sales, but you know, they come up all the time and I love your videos and I just wanted to say hi." And I was like, "You just taught me a really valuable lesson because I'm so happy that you came up to me and said that. And I need to be doing that with everyone else." And then she brought her best friend. And then all four of us were like a foursome, like the whole night, like
Right.
just going around. I'm like, this is so great. Like, why do I steer away from those things? But it was an amazing event. So cool. And even that girl, Michaela, like, that night, the only reason why I got pictures with Charlie and Rebecca Minkoff is because I was like, you know what? Like, just go up to them. Like, the worst they could say is no, right? So, exactly. That's what happened. But,
That's really cool.
yeah.
I think like to add to your point, I think like as kids, there's a lot of environments where it like kind of forces you to be friends with someone. So for example, like when you're a kid, you might be in a small classroom and like you make friends with, there's only 20 people in the class, you're going to make
Right.
friends easily. Or maybe your parents put you in a sport, you played soccer. So maybe you made friends playing soccer. And as you get older, there's all these like environments that they put you in. And then when you get to college, maybe you joined a sorority or a fraternity, or maybe you did a sport or you did some sort of group organization.
You're like forced into it.
You're kind of forced into it. And the one thing that's kind of, in some cases, not all cases, but in some cases, the one thing that's holding your friendship together is like, we were both in a frat or
Right.
we both played soccer.
Right.
And when you strip that away after you leave school and become an adult, you kind of lose that thing that was holding you guys like together. And so now when you're an adult, there's like, you know, there's other things that will create friendships, whether it's like work.
Right.
It could be if you go to the same workout class as somebody. When you get older and you have kids, it could be your kids are friends.
Right.
And so that's pretty challenging, I find too. And now that I'm getting older, I think there's like I don't know if you've experienced too, but like a lot of the friends that I grew up with, still like friendly with, but for sure not as close. I don't know if you can share that as well.
Yeah, I mean, it's actually crazy. I'm very proud of this friendship, but the bachelorette that I'm going on next Wednesday to Dominican Republic, Sophia, she is my first friend in the whole entire world.
Nice.
And it's interesting, our friendship, because we were so close. We went to elementary school together, went to high school together. In high school, we were not close. I mean, it was always great to be in the hallway and be like Sophia, or like that comfort blanket to be like, okay, like if worse comes to worse, like she's my girl, you know what I mean? But she had her friend group. We were also in different grades. I had my friend group. College, kind of, she went her way, I went my way. And then COVID happened. We're both stuck at home and we live around the block from each other. So we're like, let's go on walks. And all of a sudden it was just us every day during COVID, like hours and hours, just like looping the neighborhood, like catching up. And we were so grateful that our life brought us back together in that moment, because she was such a big part in my wedding and now I'm a big part in her wedding. And it's just weird how like it comes full circle. And if we had never reached out to each other to be like, hey, listen, like there's literally nothing to do. Like, let's catch back up. Like, let's get back together. Like, we would have never been in this, you know, beautiful situation, which is awesome. But I have a question to ask you. Like, is there anyone besides me? No, I'm kidding. Is there anyone in your life right now that you met in your 20s where there's like a really cool story behind like how you guys met?
All of my adult friends has been some sort of like serendipity, I think.
Is there anyone that sticks out to you that you're like, wow, this is so cool? Because if this hadn't happened, we would never be friends right now.
I think my buddy Kieran, which I don't know if he listens or not, but my buddy Kieran.
We're like name dropping a lot of people.
We're
today.
name dropping people, but I want to share like the point I'm sharing the story is around like serendipity, and like as you get older as an adult, you actually have to like force yourself to like make friends. You're not just gonna like accidentally make friends.
Right.
You have to put yourself in scenarios like saying yes to going to events and stuff like that. So one of my friends was like hosting this kind of I don't even know, some like workout event, and he worked at like a drink company at the time. So he was like sponsoring all these events all over. He's like, hey, we're doing an event in Jersey. So I was like, cool, all right. So I went by myself, didn't know anybody. I wound up meeting this guy that lives in the same. I live in a small suburb in Jersey, so like no one ever is from there. He owns a gym in my town.
Oh wow!
And he's my age.
Such a small world.
So such a small world. And so like from there, I started working out at his gym. We started like getting coffee once a week. We hang out a ton. Now he's invited to my wedding, and like just because I said yes to going to an event for someone else, I met someone that like actually like lived and had a business in the town that I live in.
I love that, and
it's crazy.
It reminds me of. I got this piece of advice only about a year ago, but the piece of advice was just say yes to everything in your 20s.
Yeah.
Now, take that lightly because you could definitely burn out by doing that. And I've definitely been in situations where I'm like, oh my God, I need to learn to say no. But I always find that it's the events or the meetups or just the most random things that you end up saying yes to that you're dreading. I always end up walking out of them being like, oh my God, thank God I went to that. Like this would have never happened, or I would have never met so-and-so. And like, it's always, always worth it. And even if it's like a bad night where you're just like, oh, whatever, well, I went. Like you're getting comfortable with saying yes to going to those things. So in your 20s, like say yes to everything.
You have to. Even actually, just remember, tonight I'm going to dinner with two friends that I met at two separate events.
There you go.
I introduced them together. Now, honestly, I think they're probably closer friends than me and the other ones, like, because I introduced them. Honestly, I recommend going by yourself, which I know that's a, you know.
No, but this is good. This is good advice because this is two perspectives. Like, this is someone who, you know, you're very confident going places by yourself. Remember when we went to that LinkedIn event in Brooklyn? I was like, Vin, I'm so nervous. Meet me outside. Like, I never used to be like that, which is so annoying.
It's the opposite.
How did we switch?
I don't know. So, like, I was, like, very introverted, very reserved. I was always, like, the quiet friend in the group. But then as I got older, I was like, okay, like, it wasn't serving me. And so I needed to force myself to, like, honestly, it's cheesy, but I read, like, How to Win Friends and Influence People.
Ooh.
That, like...
We will tag that book for you guys to
I mean, that's, like, a very classic book. It's a very old book. But, like, it really changed my perspective on, like...
Maybe I need to read that.
Oh, my God, it's so good. It's very old, and, like, some people may make fun of me because I read that book. But whatever. Like, it actually really helped me. And so, like, I made a conscious effort to, like, go up to people and... especially going to events, like I try to go to events by myself, because what happens when you go with someone else, let's say I got invited to an event and I had a +1 and I was like, all right, Sarah, you come with me. Now me and you are probably just going to stay together the entire time.
Yep.
Because it's comforting. You don't want to stay in the corner by yourself and be awkward on your phone or whatever. So you stay next to the person you know, and then you don't actually get to meet people. And the point of going to those events is so you can meet people.
Yeah.
Because believe me, I've been to events by myself where like it's actually more awkward for you to stand there by yourself than to just go up to someone.
Yeah.
And
You're like forced. You're like,
forced
okay,
to go up to someone.
I look ridiculous.
You look
I'm going to go
crazy.
talk to people.
Literally standing in the corner. I'm like checking my weather app. I'm like, swishing my drink around. Like, it's better if I just go up to someone and start talking to them.
Yeah.
And sometimes, sometimes nothing will happen. There's no connection. That's okay.
Right.
You just, okay, great to meet you. Move to the next one.
You're inspiring me. Next event I go to. Sorry, Faith, you're cut.
Yeah, it's cut.
Faith's
There's
cut.
no one alone. I'm curious though. I'd ask like, sounds like you're kind of friends still and close with like the girls you grew up with, but like obviously don't name the people. But like, are there some scenarios where you maybe have drifted apart from those friends?
Yeah. Yep.
And why do you think that is?
Yeah. There's one in particular that comes to mind. It's a friend breakup, which sucks. It really, really sucks. And I probably can't speak about it for too long without getting really emotional about it. But I think it's taught me a lot. The lesson that I learned from it was, I feel like I'm still trying to figure it out, because I think everyone listening to this has either probably been through a friend breakup, maybe is going through a friend breakup now. And you're just like, what the hell is going on? Like, this was my person type thing. And for me, that definitely was the case. But the lesson that I learned is you can't be upset, because the memories that I've had with her were like some of the best memories I've ever had in my life. And I don't regret any minute or year spent doing things with her and adventuring with her and this and that. So you just have to take a step back and be like, it's okay that you go your separate ways or that you grow apart, but never regret the time that you have had with that person. Because for me, that person was with me from the second grade up until basically COVID. And I think COVID tested a lot of relationships, to be honest with you. And, either you hear a lot of people separating or breaking up or going through a divorce, or there were friend breakups, and there were a lot of things going on during that time. And I would like to blame that just because COVID fucked up a lot of shit. But everyone's emotions are running so high and this and that, and it tested a lot of relationships. And, you just have to look back and not regret anything that you've done with that person, because they're still great memories.
I personally have struggled with that too, because I never had any like big falling outs with any particular friend, but I definitely had some friends where you kind of just like, I don't know, for whatever reason, you just kind of just stop talking.
Yeah.
And like no one's really from either side is trying to like mend that. And I would say when I kind of, for the first few years out of college, I kind of struggled with that, because I was like, oh, this is so strange. Like, I was really close friends with these people in like high school, and like we kind of kept in touch a little bit in college. Then like afterwards, we didn't speak at all. But then I started to realize that like it's very normal actually. Because again, when you're 14 or whatever, whenever you meet these people, like you're one completely different person. You may not even know who you are.
Yeah.
You might be sharing, again, an interest because you both played soccer together or whatever it is.
Right.
And that was okay. And at that time, it made sense.
Yeah.
And as you get older, maybe your goals change, or your ambitions change, your viewpoints on things change, and it's okay to just like kind of grow apart.
Yeah.
And I become okay with that now. And I think like, again, like there was no, like when I see these people, I was like, I'm very friendly with them and we catch up like nothing happened, but we just don't have that same connection where like we would just be hanging out like this sort of thing anymore.
I think you make a good point too, because I think now, after that huge friend breakup did happen, I definitely am more selective with who I spend my energy on. I know that might sound like pretty direct, but I think it's okay to also not feel like you need to force a friendship, because I think a lot of people are in these big friend groups and, you feel really close to one person, two people, and then you might feel like, oh, I really like this person, but I can't spend one-on-one time with them, but they're great being in a group. Like, that's okay. Like, you don't have to be close with every single person. Also, if, something pisses you off or something annoys you, like, no one's forcing you to be friends with that person, right? Like, everyone has something. I'm not being like, oh, she pissed me off, like, I'm not gonna be friends with her. Like, absolutely not. Like, that's not what I mean. But you also, once you get older, you don't need to force friendships that you realize no longer serve you. Maybe you just feel like you can't bring anything to the table for them either, or what they're looking for, and that's okay. So it's kind of like what you're saying, like growing apart is totally okay, but also not feeling like you can get close to someone is also okay.
I'll say like there's kind of like three types of friends, right? It's like one would be someone that you're on like a really, really deep level with, that like you would like share your secrets with.
Yep.
Or you would vent to them.
Right.
And they'll be there. Like whatever you need, like if you moved today to Long Island, like what friend are you calling?
Right.
Like that's your like tier 1 friend.
Right.
Then you have like your tier 2 friend that's just like you had said, you're friends with them, but you maybe don't hang out one-on-one.
Right.
And then you have like your tier 3 friends that are like, maybe a friend of a friend that like when you see them, you talk to them and you're like, oh, they're really sweet or whatever. But like you guys barely talk after that.
Yeah, or even a friend you grew apart from. Like at the end of the day, if the world was coming crashing down, like you can still call them, but you don't talk to them every single day, and
Right.
like you don't need to or feel the need to. There's actually a story that I've been brainstorming that I wanted to say on this podcast too, and it goes back to kind of the question that I asked you in terms of, is there anyone that you've met in your 20s that you would have never been friends with if something didn't happen? And I actually have a story of one of my really great friends now. Like she brings so much joy and happiness into my life. Like she's just like such a cool person, and her name's Mary, and she's
Shout out to Mary.
Shout out to Mary, and shout out Mary and Matt because they're getting engaged on Saturday.
Ooh,
and
sweet.
I've already seen your ring, and this isn't going to come out until
Who
after
knows?
you get engaged. So
Might come out after you're married.
congratulations on your engagement, Matt and Mary. Me and Mary were 2 years apart in age, but we grew up playing soccer, not together, but like always mutual friends. And we actually had the same coach, but he coached two different teams and we were on separate teams. So we were always like,
Fairfield?
did not go to Fairfield. She ended up going to FAU in Florida, played soccer there, but she went to the Fairfield camp with me, the ID camp. We roomed together. So
Oh, wow.
it was funny. Like we were always in the same room, but never friends, if that makes sense. So we were always aware of each other. Mary, the year I moved into the city, which was like 2022, I get a DM on Instagram from Mary O'Hara. And I'm like, what the hell? Like, I mean, I knew Mary really well, and her message to me, and I give her shit for this all the time because I'm like, I can't believe you did this. Like, you're so weird. But thank God she did. But her message to me was, hey, Sarah, I see that you keep posting in New York City. I'm moving to New York City in a few weeks, and I literally don't know anyone there. Like, will you get dinner with me? And I was like, so judgmental. I'm like, what the fuck? This is so weird. I'm like, this is so weird. But 20 minutes later, I was like, okay, it takes a lot of guts to just like DM someone to go to dinner that you haven't seen in like 10 years. I'm like, I'm going to go. So, and this is me 3 years ago. So maybe I need to go back to 3-year-old me. But I go to Bella Union with her. Do you know where that is? And it's like Midtown on the east side. Anyone that lives in Murray Hill knows what Bella Union is. But I go to Bella Union with her. And on my way there after work, I'm like telling my coworkers, I'm like, I'm going to this dinner with this girl, Mary, who I haven't talked to in 10 years. Like, I feel like this is so weird. I'm so nervous. I felt like I was going on a first date. Me and Mary got there at like 6 on like a random Tuesday night, and we left Bella Union at 1.
Oh my God.
Like we had no air left in the tank. Like we were talking, chatting, whatever. Next thing you know, we're at dinner the next week. Mary was at my bachelorette. She said a prayer at St. Patrick's Cathedral for me and Jonathan's wedding.
Wow.
All of that from an Instagram DM. And now I'm going to be at her engagement on Saturday.
We should have had her kind of give us some advice.
We should have gave her.
We should have.
We should have had a Mary O'Hara feature. I mean,
So that's actually really interesting because I actually have this thought that the friends you make in your adult life are actually like, there's so much more deeper of a relationship there for some reason. I think it's because as adults, you're a little bit more intentional and you could have like more deeper conversations. Like I have friends that I was friends with for so long that like, I don't know anything about them.
yeah. No, you make a great point because like
weird.
my relationship with Mary, like I feel like I know so much about her, and the relationship went from like 0 to best friend mode in a few months, like maybe even less than that, in weeks. But I think it's because also when you're in your 20s, you just kind of like cut out all the shit.
Yeah.
You're kind of like, it's like dating, right?
Yeah.
It's like, hey, like, I mean, you're engaged, I'm married, but if you're dating in this day and age, and I've witnessed it for my friends, I'm sure you've done it too. You sit down on a first date, it's like an interview.
Right.
You're like, this is what I want, this is what I don't want, this is what, like, why are you wasting your time? And I feel like it's very similar with friendships. Like, you just know.
You just know, yeah. Some of my closest friends actually I made it as an adult,
Yeah.
like post college, which is pretty crazy. So I can relate to your story.
Yeah.
And speaking of making adults as friends, I think like one of the most obvious and most common places to make friends as an adult, at least as a young adult, is probably at work.
Yep.
And I truly believe that for any young person that just graduated college, it's probably worth working inside of an office. And I know you're very, very close with the Pareto crew. So like, what was your experience making friends right out of college?
Yeah. I think we have said this probably on every single podcast episode of how important it is to work in an office when you graduate. Let me tell you, thank God I did, because Pareto people are some of my best friends. I was at the gym for 2 hours this morning with my friend Jack, who's from Pareto. One of my best friends, Mackenzie, was on my bachelorette and she's still at Pareto. Jackie V, oh my God, I don't know what I would do without her. She's like my little sister. And like, again, Pareto, but all of those people. And long story short, there's 10 of us, just booked a trip to the Caribbean, to St. Martin in October. So I'm going to be hosting 10 of them in October.
Oh, they're staying by you?
Yeah, staying by me. And it's literally VP of sales, head of delivery. Like it's everyone.
It's a Pareto offsite.
It's a Pareto offsite. We literally we used to have these incentive trips, and we were like, guys, this is going to be the closest we've ever get to an incentive trip ever again. So we're going, but
staying at the UI residence.
Yeah.
So funny.
Exactly.
I guess like at Pareto, what made you guys like become such good friends with, just because like you guys are kind of sharing similar struggles? Was it like you guys maybe went out after work? Like how did those friendships form?
Yeah, good question. I think immediately you definitely share similar struggles with people at work, right? Like you're like, oh, I can't believe so-and-so did this, or I can't believe so-and-so did this. And it's like office drama, but it's like, I don't say drama. I like to say it's banter. It's like, it's banter. It's good drama. You definitely bond over that. We did a lot of happy hours as well. I think it's really important to know that it's okay to get to know your coworkers outside of work. I think when people graduate, we have this mindset now of, oh my God, everything is like so uptight, suit and tie professional. It's definitely steering away from that, I think, in 2025. And people are like, oh, I don't want to be friends with people at work. Like, that's weird. Like, it's not weird, especially in your 20s, especially if you're moving from a really big city or a small town to a big city where you don't know anyone. Of course you should make friends with your coworkers, because you spend more time with your coworkers than you do with your family, right? So especially when you go into an office.
I agree. And I think there's something also about like the friends you make with your first job out of college for some reason. Like, yeah. I think everyone can relate to that, where it's like for some reason you make your best friends like with your first job out of college. And I could definitely relate to that too. When I started working at Demand Base, we had such a great crew of people that were on the SDR team. Mm-hmm. It was all like pretty younger people, whether it was like their second or first job out of college.
Yep.
And we had a blast. I mean, like, yeah, we were like doing sales, cold calling, cold emailing. It was a tough job. So we all like bonded through that.
Yeah, you're in it together.
We would go out for happy hours or dinner, or like just joke around at lunchtime. Like, it is honestly one of like the better memories I remember here in the city. And then a lot of those people I'm like really, really close with. Like two of the people, Jesse and Jake, are going to be in my wedding. Like, that's
awesome.
And then there'll be a few other people probably attending. But
isn't it also crazy that like the people in your wedding, you didn't know them until after graduation?
Yeah. Like,
that should show a lot of people watching this too. It's like some of the most important people in your life you haven't even met yet.
You haven't even. That's great. Clip that. That's really good. I love that. There's probably still more people to meet that you'll become even closer friends with. You don't even know. I
actually have a really good story about that too. So my mom and dad are divorced. They've been divorced for 20 years. So
mine too.
Yeah. Oh, wow. Did we not know that?
I don't think I knew that.
Oh, cheers to that. People are always like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. No, it's truly the best thing that's ever happened to our family. We needed to separate. Anyways, still have a great relationship with my mom and my dad. They're the best. My mom, about 8-9 years ago, I was a freshman at Fairfield University, and my mom came up for every single soccer game. So did my dad. They did not miss one, which was a blessing. But my mom had a friend in Connecticut, and one night they stayed over after one of my games, and Fairfield is a bit of a party town. Like, there's amazing restaurants, there's great bars. They got like super hammered. They were on the beach. My mom was like, I love it here. I want to buy a house. She did.
Holy shit.
I was so nervous because I was just like, I don't know. My mom's like 58 years old, like buying a house in a town that she literally knows nobody in. I was nervous. I was just like, oh my God, like, are people going to be friends with her? Like, it's on the beach. Like, you hope that it's going to be like this beach community, but you really don't know. And also, no offense to Connecticut people, trust me, because now I love Connecticut people and I love Connecticut and I would move there in a heartbeat. But I don't know, Connecticut people have a little bit of a rep. They're like a little snotty, a little kind of think they're better than everyone else. Stereotypical, hate me if you will, but that's what I thought Connecticut people were like.
Right.
The people that my mom have met, fast forward 8 years to today, I feel like we're in the delivery room when I was born. Like, they are our family friends. Wow. We are so close with them. We do everything with them. We spend every summer with them. They visit us out on Long Island, but they are truly like my step parents, my step aunts and uncles. Like, even Jonathan is so close with all of them. And those people are my mom's best friends. And she did not meet them until she was 58.
That's crazy.
How insane is that?
What did your mom do that you think she was able to make all these friends?
I mean, if you've met my mom, to know my mom is to love my mom. She's the best. She could literally talk to a wall. But she's also, like, she's 65. She parties. Like, she hosts. She's social. She does not care what anyone thinks. She will go up to anyone and just start chit-chatting. So I'm shocked that I've gone backwards a little bit in that. Hopefully I go back up. But she just doesn't care, and she just goes up to people, and she knows a good vibe when she sees it. And all of her friends are so great. They genuinely care about her. She cares about them. They do things for each other just as you would, like, in any friendship. But those relationships that she has, like, those are for life, and they didn't start until 58.
They remind me, actually, I got some pretty good advice, and I think it's similar to what you had said about your mom. So maybe you can relate to this. Like, you ever have like a friend group that maybe you're not that close with that particular friend group, but maybe you're friends with a few of them.
Yep.
Maybe they go out and, like, for whatever reason, you weren't hit up.
Mm-hmm.
Or sometimes there's maybe an event going on. Let's just say for right now, March Madness is going on. So a bunch of guys want to get together, but no one actually puts the effort in to put a group together.
Yep.
So you're sitting home and you're like, why am I sitting home? Like, I should be going out. I should have plans right now.
Yeah.
So I got some pretty good advice where it's like, don't wait for your friends. Like, be the friend.
Mm-hmm.
So don't
I like
wait
that.
for someone.
Also clip that.
Clip that. Don't wait for the friends. Be the friend. So what does that mean? Don't wait for someone to put something together. Don't wait for the plans. Don't wait for the invite. Like, no. You put it together.
Mm-hmm.
You invite people. If you want to see a friend, like, invite them to a dinner.
Yeah.
Or if you want, like, for example, when I was working in the city, working at Demand Base, I wanted to meet more people in tech. I wanted to network more, but, like, everything I was looking online was all, like, kind of centered around, like, drinking or happy hours. And, I don't really drink that much. And I think, like, corporate happy hours sometimes are kind of, like, awkward. I like to work out with my friends. Like, if I haven't seen a friend in a while, I'm like, yo, let's get a workout and, like, grab lunch.
We actually do that too. We do a bunch of workout classes. It's great. Yeah.
I love that. So I actually put on these, like, it's called Sass and Sweat.
Oh, I love
I
that.
did that for, like, I don't know, a few months. And it was obviously, like, right before the pandemic. So I stopped after that. But once a month, we were hosting these meetups for people in tech.
Yep.
To work out.
Mm-hmm.
And, like, that was a good example of, like, yo, just be the friend. Like, put the event on. If people show, if it was, sometimes we had a run and we had, like, 5 people show.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever. Like, those
still 5 people.
Still 5 people that you can meet or maybe just get close.
Even if it's 2 or 3 people. I mean, you're immediately closer to those 2 to 3 people than you were before the run.
Yep. And one of the guys that I met through the Sass and Sweat meetups is the one I'm going to dinner with tonight. So, yeah, some of them, Julia Carter, I met through that.
Oh my God, Julia. Shout out Julia. Yeah. I love Julia. I met Julia, I think, honestly, through you.
Yeah, at dinner.
Yeah, at the dinner.
First time I was with Armand Julia.
Yes.
Yeah, okay,
that was the first time. But you had told me about Julia, and you were like, you're really going to like her. And I did. I loved Julia.
Yeah. And so that's another example, too. I don't know if I planned that dinner or it was Armand. I can't remember. But either way, somebody planned that dinner, right? And they were that friend for that moment. They put the dinner on, and you said yes. Yeah. So there's kind of two things need to go on. Someone needs to put the effort in to actually do it.
Yep.
And then the people need to just be a little spontaneous and say yes.
No, that's such great advice. It's like exactly what you said. Be the friend. Stop waiting around, feeling sorry for yourself that maybe you got left out of X, Y, and Z. I think also when you start to think, oh my God, I was left out, and immediately your head goes to on purpose, right? I mean, there's definitely been times where I end up going to a dinner with a friend and people are like, what the hell? Why didn't you say anything? And I'm honestly like, it really just freaking happened. Like, we were just like ran into each other in the street and we decided to go get a drink.
Most of the time it's not intentional.
You know what I mean? Like, it's not intentional, especially like at this age. If you genuinely are listening to this right now and you're like, no, it is intentional, you have the wrong friends.
Yeah, I agree.
Find people that add to your life, not make you stress out about, oh my God, I was left out on purpose, or this was intentional. Because I want to say like we're too old for that, but like we are too old for that. Like, there are so many amazing people in this world that, again, some of them you might have not have even met yet. So don't end up feeling sorry for yourself or waste your energy on people that aren't good to you.
And also, too, I just thought of this, too. I think I got in the habit of, like, only seeing friends that, like, kind of we moved, like, distance-wise apart. So, like, you don't see them that often. I fell into the wrong habit of, like, only seeing them going out to dinner or for drinks. And that feels like we're just catching up and, like, it just...
Yeah,
just check
like a meetup,
like I think you need to prioritize more of the casual stuff.
I like that.
Which I need to do a better job of,
like
too.
The workouts, too.
Workout is a really good example where it's like you go on a walk or a run or a workout and you get, like, a lunch and a smoothie out or whatever your thing is. I don't know what your thing is, right?
Yep.
But, like, something that's more casual where you're just kind of hanging. Like, maybe you like reality TV and you invite them over to watch whatever show you watch, Summer House. I don't know. What do you watch reality TV?
The one that I watch that I'm like religious to is Selling Sunset.
Selling Sun. Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Gianna fucking loves reality TV.
Yeah, my friends do too. They love the Housewives, just like Faith. So I was really happy that she got her little housewife kick off that event last week.
Not for me. To summarize our conversation, I prioritize no more casual hangs.
Yep.
Be okay with growing apart from your friends.
Yep.
Say yes to plans.
Yep.
And literally just be that friend. Like put the plans together, approach people, try to like put something together, because like if you're the person that binds other friend groups as well, like I think that's even more valuable than being the friend itself.
That was the perfect summary. Cut.
End scene. Okay, Sarah is going to get the Wall Street Journal article.
Go to your local bodega and pick up the Wall Street Journal, because our star of the show, Vin, is in the star of the show in the Wall Street Journal this morning.
And that's what happens when you say yes to things.
Yep, exactly.